Call the meeting to order. March 8th, 2021. I don't know the exact time. It's got to be about 5 or 6 after 7. We're a little bit late.
7:04.
7:04. Thank you. All right. Has everyone had a chance to read the previous minutes?
Now, are we talking the minutes from the presentation or the other ones?
The select board meeting.
Select board
Okay.
meeting. Sorry.
I thought I was reading them, but then turned out not to be the right ones, so. And that was the 22nd?
Yeah.
Two?
Normally at this meeting, the board elects a new chairman of the select board. This probably should be down on board business, but I'm going to bring it up now. So we're open for nominations for chairman of the board.
I'll nominate Josh Goss.
Second the nomination.
Any others? Okay. Josh Goss been nominated for chairman of the select board. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Your first order of business. Vice chair.
We need nominations for vice chair for Bakersfield Selectboard.
I nominate Lance Lawyer.
Do we have a second?
I'll second
We have a motion for Lance Lawyer as vice chair. It's been made and seconded. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? You always have it. How is it, England says, the eyes are over the nose, so. Just a quick read through on the minutes, I don't see anything here, so. I'd entertain a motion to accept February 22nd select board meeting minutes.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes.
I'll second it.
February 22nd.
Nation's been, you got the people, Tammy?
I got Terry making a motion and Gary seconding.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. Let me pull my agenda back up here.
Do we have any finance?
Report.
By the way, I am not going to miss being chair.
Now, I was gonna say, there's quite a few things that you have your iron in the fire and most of the information. If you, such as the Brigham, I don't know any of the stuff that's going on with that, if you would be so kind as to remain our liaison between them and the board.
Ms. Eichenberg and I can't remember the other fellow's name. Yeah, I can still do that.
Okay.
What do you want to do about FEMA?
If you would remain there too, that would be extremely helpful.
If you take over everything else, Josh, I'll take over. I'll stay.
There's just a lot of background information there
Yeah, I'll
that
stay with FEMA and Brigham.
I would greatly appreciate it.
I greatly appreciate what you're doing.
That makes me nervous.
I've last year, just as a comment, I said that you didn't have enough experience, and I would stay one more year. That year is done. It's your turn, bud.
I guess we're ready. Reports and warrants are on the table. I'm sure they'll get passed around. Finances, was Abby coming in tonight, or was she just she sent out a bunch of information in email today that I got to look at, but
Yeah. Has anybody met the new treasurer?
not since they've been the new treasurer.
No, I thought they might come in tonight, but no. I didn't issue an invite. I didn't issue an invite. I was gonna say, she
Tammy,
probably
can you
didn't.
issue an invite to the next meeting?
Yep.
That'll give us this meeting to straighten out the appointees and, or look for appointees at this point.
Mhm.
And, that would be to both, Abby and Audrey,
Okay.
please. Just so that we can kind of square out what Abby's thoughts are on the training portion
Yeah.
and
That sounds
where
good.
Audrey feels that she is and what she might need, what we can offer.
Question, Mr. Chair. Is it possible if we have an agreement to go live next meeting that they can attend via?
Via Zoom.
Yep.
Yep. One of the first things I'd like to talk about, I know it's not here on the minutes or on the agenda, but it's, we'll put it in the other category, I guess. As we discussed during our, informational meetings and the meetings prior, this form of meeting, the televised or live meeting, as you will, is a great way to reach many more of our townspeople, and get their input on, important town matters. We have talked about what it would cost to set this system up, and I'm hoping with a little help from Mr. Lindahl, we can look into different equipment that would be needed. This is excellent.
For us to purchase?
To purchase a web camera, speaker system, and a TV along with a modem, so that we can see, we could have it permanently set up and see exactly, who's in our meetings and how everything would go. That way, we're not we're not at the mercy of an outside entity, as gracious as they've been. But I think it's obvious that we're gonna need our own setups, so I think that's something that we should start looking into sooner rather than later.
Well, but we had discussed that.
Right.
After the last meeting, I believe it was you, Terry, and I, that we should go ahead with this. And I'm fully in support of going ahead and getting our own
Is this a one-year subscription?
equipment.
I did have
Nice.
a text about
Buy it?
15 minutes before the meeting
Oh.
asking for this.
Okay.
And I've already
There
talked
wasn't
to
one.
other boards.
Oh, there was not?
I want to make sure it's under that.
No, there's no
Yep.
Zoom link tonight. You're not Zooming.
So, what Brenda just showed me here is her invoice for her personal Zoom account. And it's a year subscription, with taxes, which we are tax exempt, so that won't affect us, but it's $150 for a year for a Zoom account for a year. I think that's money well spent.
I agree.
That's just the Zoom account.
Just the Zoom.
Right?
Yep, I think it would be,
Are
In
you
our-
limited to how long you can be on it once you have the?
not once you have the subscription, no.
And I believe it was up to 100 individuals can be on at once.
Wow.
Really?
That would be more than we've ever had, times 3.
Yeah.
So, in my opinion, going with a Zoom account makes complete sense. As I said at the last meeting, I also think it would be in our best interest to open a Google account for documents to be shared,
Thank you, sir.
the warrants, the meeting minutes and everything can be shared on those. And all of our Zoom meetings could be uploaded through Google and then put wherever we want on the town website. If we so choose to have somebody represent us on Facebook to share that type of stuff, it could be easily shared there also.
Josh, what about tonight's meeting?
Tonight's
I
meeting, I think-
understand is not The Zoom link hasn't been publicized?
Right, tonight is just a recording that will be shared at a later date.
Okay.
So very similar to just meeting minutes.
Okay.
But we would like to get live so that, you know,
Absolutely.
people aren't missing out on stuff. I was not aware that Mr. Lindola was gonna be here today, or else I would have created the Zoom link and it could have been shared quicker, but, I mean, there again, it would have been through the school's email again, it would have had my name on it instead of the town of Bakersfield, so
Right.
I think if, Tammy, if you'd be willing to take, well, I guess we need a motion to,
Open a Zoom account?
to open a Zoom account and a Google account for sharing and recording of meeting minutes, plans.
So are we planning to do the Zoom even after COVID's done, we're still gonna keep on doing this?
I think that's a good idea. I'd like to make the motion that we open up a Zoom account, or Google, whichever.
You need both.
We need both?
The
I think
Google
he said
account, the
both.
Google account doesn't cost anything.
Okay.
Yeah, that's.
We'll open up both in order to have meetings that are publicized to the general populace.
Can I get a second?
I'll second that.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any other?
Did we want to have Roger provide us with a bid for equipment that we need or inventory?
Is that a possibility?
We don't sell equipment.
They don't say.
Can you suggest or recommend?
I could send you some links that we use, sure.
Okay, that would be awesome, thanks. Motion has been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So passed. Now, Roger, you're on here. Did you have something you wanted to say, or?
I just wanted to mention that I was invited, and if you had any other questions related to these topics, that I was available to answer them at this time. That's all.
Excellent. Is there anybody that would be interested in being the contact person for Roger to start, you know, looking at equipment? And Brenda? Excellent. Is everybody okay with Brenda being the contact person?
Absolutely.
I know I am. Yep. Awesome. That's great. So Roger, if you can just be in contact with Brenda about equipment and what we might need, excellent. Melanie is not here yet. NWCUD, that's Brenda. What are we looking at? What does it stand for, first of all?
Northwest Communications Union District.
Excellent.
Right now, myself and, I'll think of her name.
Heather, yes.
Yeah, Heather Jewett, are representing Bakersfield to this organization. We actually will meet tomorrow. Currently, there's a request for business owners to write a letter to support a grant. I'm going to get the specifics here so I can be accurate. Give me a second.
Now, this is to bring better internet service to our area, correct?
Correct. This is around the state, there's these communications union districts that were formed really because government wasn't doing anything. Our state government seems unable to move forward with telecommunications in a way that's meaningful for rural. They get about 90,000 people without any sort of broadband. And with that said, the solution is up to us as towns and villages within our county. We'll have that solution, and it may be a mixed solution. It may be partly satellite television, it may be some satellite link-ups, it may be cable, and it may be fiber to the premise. So what this grant that they're seeking to do is, let's see what I can find, okay. It's a U.S. Department of Agriculture Rural Development Grant. And we're asking business owners and/or individuals that have concerns like maybe farmers or large farms to submit a letter of support through the Northwest CUD saying that we support and there's a letter in here that's an example, that we support this and we want to get going, literally get going on this. It will allow us to take part in, I'm going to back up a little bit. You guys knew that the survey that we did, or that NWCU did prior to me, is in place now, and it shows really things that we need to do.
Yeah.
This grant will allow us to proceed with engineering and talk about how we're going to connect with other networks. It's fairly detailed, and what I'll do is I'm going to post up the talking points, and I know most of the businesses in town, so I will be approaching them and say, on behalf of the Northwest CUD, not the board, select board, if they would be kind enough to forward a letter or something similar to the NWCUD to help support us getting this grant. It's a step that we need to take in order to hire someone to do a study that will tell us what we need to do, where we need to do it, and approximately what it will cost. We know there's infrastructure out there. Most people are connected with copper wire in town, and we know that we all want reliable, high-speed internet.
This, for clarification, this would help support replacement of outdated hardwire equipment, for lack of better.
Yeah, there's
For instance, I have a phone line for my high-speed, quote-unquote, high-speed internet, which is there most of the time, but not enough for my wife to do her schoolwork from home. Would this support upgrading that type of equipment?
not the upgrade itself, but the engineering part of it tells us what we need and specifically where we need it.
Okay. All
So
right.
it'll allow us to develop pricing and costs, and remember, this is pretty much all consumer driven until we get grants and funding from the federal government and state government. Those are in the pipeline. Funding for that is coming, and basically you're on an old twisted copper pair of wires that
Yep.
should have been replaced 30 years ago.
Yeah.
My connection is different where I am. I have the twisted copper pair in the last mile. There's also a fiber optic node down at the end of my road. So it
Okay.
allows me to have up to 20 megabits.
Okay. Forgive me for being a little bit.
Riley, can you forward me that letter?
Yes.
That'd be great.
Concerned about this, but we've heard we're going to be upgraded before, and we've had governors promise that this is going to happen before. How is this different?
This is a people and towns driven initiative.
Okay.
We're only beholden to the government to provide reports and document what we're doing. What is good about this is exactly what you said is exactly what everybody says when they walk and talk about this. And it is, again, something that this governor has said he wants to fix, because now he's seen what happens when you don't have it, especially in the pandemic. For education and work, people all came back and working from home, and the Public Service Board has been flooded with complaints. And so the money has to come from someplace,
Yes.
and it's out there. And part of what the Communications Union District will be doing is looking how to fund this. Okay, how to actually pay for it.
Okay.
And it's, like I said, it's going to be a mix of things, including fiber, cable, and very possibly the link that I sent you for Skynet.
Now, this is the one that Heather brought to us before,
Yes.
and we were told that this wasn't gonna cost the town anything. Is that still the way it looks?
Yeah, the purpose of the grant is to make sure that we can self-fund, and we do have a budget right now, and this grant will go a long way to help that out. Will it ever cost the town money? You gotta pay a phone bill sometime. So it's one of those things that, if they say it's for free, they're lying to you.
Okay.
Would you foresee that being a municipal expense or an individual expense?
It's gonna be an individual expense. It's like, I pay for my phone, you pay for your phone.
Yep.
Town pays for the phones that it has and uses here. And are you on Comcast here for phones?
No, I've got
Or
Consolidated.
consolidated.
We have
Yeah, consolidated.
consolidated. Pull my phone out. Look. Sharon pays that bill, so.
Well, in order to have good cellular service in this area, you also need a solid backbone of fiber. So this is also critical to providing cellular service here. Nobody can put up a cell tower if there's no way to support it or allow people to use it. So cellular infrastructure is totally dependent on the construction of a good fiber network as well.
What's that?
Is there cell towers in your towns?
On a silo, yeah.
Side notes about where there's cell towers.
Yeah.
I don't understand that there are Wi-Fi communications repeaters on my father's silo, but we can't take advantage of it.
I don't know what's located on his silos or what he's got there, but there's definitely limitations within a cellular footprint, because you've got Verizon and AT&T, or Verizon and AT&T.
Mhm.
They're your dominant carriers. Don't know who it is. I get no cell phone service where I am in East Bakersfield. Zero. So would I like that? Yeah. Are they gonna put up a tower for 5 people per mile? I don't know. There's a formula that I never looked at when I was working for the phone company, but I know they're there. And cable won't come out unless there's X amount of people per mile.
Yeah.
And
Well, they're not gonna do it if they can't make a profit at it,
correct.
so.
We are looking at something much like the Rural Electrification Act. It goes back in the 20s and 30s and finally brought electricity to parts of Vermont in the 80s.
Yeah.
I don't think it will take that long, because what's driving it is exactly what you're experiencing now, is the lack of bandwidth.
Yep.
Yes, you might be able to make one connection, but try to add somebody doing a workload there and then kids studying, it ain't happening.
Yep.
So we meet tomorrow, and I will, either myself or Heather will provide updates from those meetings.
Excellent. I guess the next one online is Cat Crusaders. Carrie, is that you?
Yes, so Jamie Rushford contacted me because I thought we did put that on our ballots, but we didn't.
We did. No.
So she wanted to know, does that mean that she cannot get anything from the town of Bakersfield?
What was,
I don't-
explain Cat Crusaders for me,
She
please.
neuters cats, like Barnes cats and all that kind of
Right.
stuff.
Okay, we received no
I don't.
written request or
Yes,
no
she did.
personal, she did?
You read it, you laughed at it, and you said no. That was
I
the
don't,
kind of ballot.
I apologize, I don't recall
All of you, you weren't alone.
that.
I
Yeah, I
don't
was
remember
either.
Jack Crusaders.
When was that?
I thought we
It was the
put
night
it on it,
ballot.
Was it?
The night you decided what was going on the ballot, Cat
Uh-huh.
Crusaders' letter was in the file.
I'm sorry, I do not recall that.
It was
but
there.
I remember we talked about it because I said how Dorothy Westcomb, how she had done Dorothy Westcomb's, but I could have sworn we put it on the ballot, but
No
I
kidding.
didn't even realize it wasn't on there till she called me. and I
Sam
said,
Cripps
"Oh,
had the
shoot,
file
you're
in
right."
front of him. He was reading them off.
Okay. Well, I apologize because that one, sounds like a
And
worthy,
you know what?
sounds like a
Jerry
worthy
Rushford,
cause.
Jamie Rushford
Jamie
has
Rushford.
appointed to be interviewed on the the Kelly Regis show
Uh-huh.
at the end of this month.
Do you
About
recall
Cat
how much they
Crusaders.
were asking for?
Get out of here.
No kidding.
I don't.
Do-
It was $500.
I believe.
$500. Josh, we have the authority to do that, to make that donation. We have chosen to put these on a ballot to give the people a say in what they want to donate money to. That's just, I'm just putting it out there. I'm not
Right.
advocating for anything, I'm just putting it out there that we do have that authority.
Where would it come from though?
It would have to come from the general fund.
Yeah, I think this year we should probably,
I would,
being as tight as our budget is this year, I guess.
I'm not advocating for anything, I'm just throwing information out.
Right.
No.
It'd be different if the townspeople voted in, but that's us just saying, I mean, I think it'd be for the vote of the people and right now.
especially considering if we were to do that, I feel like it looks like we held something off to the side so that it couldn't be voted down, so that we could just say it was gonna happen.
Sorry about that.
I mean, it was an oversight, but, yeah, I don't remember it, but, yeah.
The problem is, on that, is we get so many people asking for money that when we're going through the list, you know, was the Humane Society in there again? What does it say? I feel like,
Yes, the Humane Society we did give to, I'm pretty sure.
I don't think it was on the ballot.
It wasn't?
They didn't make a request this
I don't
year.
think they did make a request.
no,
They did not make a
Usually-
request this year.
It's been the first year, they must not have, usually we used to have those. And
that's what I was just looking.
I just think, you know, not being voted on by people, I don't think we just say, go ahead and give her $500.
The select board, as long as I've been a part of it, has given the people a choice as to whether or not they want to make donations to. And the general rule of thumb is if somebody can make a request in writing and present it to the select board. Before COVID, we asked that people come to a meeting and make an argument for why we should donate to their cause. Obviously, this last year has made it difficult to do anything like that, so it's been a little screwed up.
My assumption when we were going over that list is there would not be anything new this year. And I actually, just looking over what we put on there and what we did, it was either the same or less. So if somebody asked for, you know, more than what they got last year, we opted to give them the same as what they got last year.
There was
Put that-
only one request that was reduced.
Right. But that's what I mean, everything else stayed the same from the previous year.
Yes. Yeah.
And we didn't ask for, okay, yeah, we actually did one less.
You okay with it?
I
We
would,
got acid reflux.
my suggestion, Terry, would be to tell her to make sure she sends another letter next year when, you know, when budget season comes around. And, hopefully we're not in the same position we are now.
God help us.
And we can-
Yeah.
I will pass that on.
We can think about being more generous.
Okay.
Does that sound good to the board?
Yes.
I don't wanna say speak for everybody, so, yes. I assume Melanie thought we would be joining via Zoom, maybe?
Well, maybe, I don't know. She didn't ask me for the link. We had another person ask for the link.
Okay. Well, when she comes in, we can get her in. But that moves us to roads.
Oh, that might have been her calling.
Oh, maybe.
Did we get it?
I thought I could get it, or maybe not. I didn't get
We
it.
should
I
remember
was
to,
taking minutes.
we should remember to bring one of the portable phones out here with us.
Phones ever?
Yeah, I
You
thought
check
about
the
it.
color ID.
Yeah, you can. You wanna do it?
Yeah. I don't know her number, but
You're saying somebody's name, I think,
Matt, how does this work on these? It looks like, how come you guys aren't getting paid for 40 regular hours?
but, say that again?
On this, it says that you're getting paid 24.48.
this is
Oh,
different
wait,
than
no.
mine.
No, never mind, I'm reading this wrong. I was like, why aren't they paying for a whole 40 hours, but it's not the hours? Oh, 'cause this is the, you don't get a check, right?
See, one of the things that I would want to start for done tonight. I mean, I think
that
we
would,
can't let that one
It's just one,
slide.
they don't get a check that
Do the
week.
double standards.
I think that was
Absolutely.
Kathy calling from her, from her mother-in-law's.
Oh,
What
really?
she wants us to make it a
Yeah.
cost road.
Now I get it.
I
I get it.
What's that?
Mark their taxes, so
Yeah.
see if they're coming.
What's that?
All right. That ending
Yeah.
visitors, we can move to roads. Matt, are they still there?
Yeah. Truck number 1 went down for an operation for Front Springs.
Truck number one,
Warranty.
can you use names just because truck 1, truck 2,
That's a single
Mark's
axle.
truck?
Mark's
Okay.
truck.
That's a single axle truck.
Yeah.
The only single axle.
Okay,
It went down for Front Springs. One was broken on the driver's side.
okay,
Took it to Clark's. They told us they were gonna try to warranty the one on the passenger side, because it was like, instead of having a little life, it was bent over.
yep,
So in the bill tonight, it reflects the fact that they warranted the whole thing, charged 80 some odd dollars for a brake adjustment, which, of course, that wouldn't be adjusted. But if International asks for the parts, okay, for the passenger side, and sees it is not broken, they may not cover that part.
okay.
So that's
So we
just,
may have to incur that cost.
we might have to occur, and he asked me, he says, what do you want to do? And I said, there's no sense in, you're down here now with that spring, I mean, that, it was basically was bottoming out on the front X.
Yeah,
I said, there's no sense in not changing it. Well, you got it right here.
Absolutely.
They had them both, you know, they got them ahead of time for us, so.
yep,
That was that.
We'll be fortunate if they cover it. If not, it's something
Right.
that had to be replaced
But
anyway.
right now, on the bill that's in there now, it is covered, so.
If you're
Okay. truck 2 and truck 3 are still good though?
Yes.
Yeah.
On the last minutes I saw where there was discussion about mileage,
Yep,
okay? This is the only checking roads. This was a truck, 2 trucks,
Okay.
trips to there. I'm just telling you that that's.
yeah. And that's all we're asking, Mac, is when we're checking roads.
What I'm saying, is these are always in that book.
Right.
If you have a question-
It was in the book when we were discussing
if
it
you have a
last
question,
week,
like,
or
tonight's
last
50
meeting.
Tonight's 50 miles is for when I went down to pick up Mark, when we dropped the truck
Drop
off.
truck off.
So when I picked it up, I was already in St. Albans. I had my wife calling me over there. I did not charge for the return trip, so
Okay.
that's neither here nor there. Now, FEMA, I think we have a meeting tomorrow, Lance?
Yeah,
At 10 o'clock?
I was kind of looking for Abby's email to remind me. I believe it's tomorrow.
I think it's 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
We met last, you weren't there last Thursday, I think.
Thursday. Yeah, it's Thursday.
We went over the FEMA work from before,
Yeah, you
trying to
and
get a
Abby
number
did.
for her can loan.
That was just you and Abby, though.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we called Paul, our contact, and he was very helpful again. He's got it, so Goat Path Bridge and the engineering and something else. He's he's put it on the fast track, so I'm assuming we're gonna see money for that very soon.
Yeah.
The only thing that was a little, is the fact that he took the Whitney Bridge, that, you know, that possibility, that culvert
Right.
there, and he separated that out into a separate project.
So that one, it looks like there's a fair possibility that will not be funded.
Right.
We're talking about the medium-sized box culvert
Putting in a box culvert to
to replace the 4-foot
Yep,
corrugated metal culvert,
He
yes.
seemed to think, because I asked him, he said if you could show us supporting data. Mark was here today, he was looking up FEMA past events, He found one for down there, I found another very small one,
Yeah.
but I don't have the one from 82. I gotta ask him tomorrow if FEMA has a archive that they could look up 82, because that was the bigger one
Yep,
for that. And if you could show enough damage from the past, you might get it. I asked him about water bill. He had to look to find anything for water bill. Apparently that was like, we hadn't talked about it so much in the last meeting.
right.
He did find it, and we asked, I said, is that gonna be the same thing, or we gotta show reoccurrence in cost? And he said he did not think so, because in the description, it said the damaged culvert and something else, and I told him, I said, we were able to reuse the culverts, we had to reset them. So he says he does not think that's a problem, he thinks that one's gonna fly still. It's in mitigation right now, so,
Yeah, the culverts were displaced
yeah,
at the
Why
very
would
least.
they cover the Whitney Road? What was different about it?
the culvert was not damaged.
Oh,
The 4-foot culvert wasn't, it was plugged on the upper end, but it was, the culvert itself wasn't damaged. But this is, it's a recurring problem because of the angle the culvert is. It comes down the mountain, or the ridge there, it's not really a mountain. The road is like this, the water comes down like this, and the culvert is like this. It hits that spot right there, and it tears out, there's a cofferdam there to divert the water into the 4-foot culvert. But it comes down there with such a volume, a high velocity, that it tears that cofferdam right out, and once it does that, it washes the road right out.
You couldn't turn the
Now, and this last time, it plugged it up with gravel, dirt, and debris.
Could you put a concrete head wall on that?
Sticks.
Right.
Plugged it right up, and that made it even worse because no water was going down the culvert, and it just took the road right
Water
out.
wants to go straight, and when it plugged it, it just went over the top.
I just asked Mac while you were explaining, I asked if we could, you know, in order to prevent that sharp of an angle, if we could turn the culvert.
I believe that's on one of our mitigation
It was in a mitigation plan
with,
to extend the length of the culvert
Yeah.
and change the angle,
Change the
Could you
angle.
do
and put a
concrete head
a
wall?
more substantial head wall there.
Yep.
No, we've done some concrete head walls that are angles that, you know, they're different
Yeah.
angles, but they catch the water and move directly into the culvert.
right,
Yep. But I mean, there again, that's not up to us, it's basically up to FEMA at this time. What they tell us to do is how it needs to be done.
Right.
Okay. All right.
Our engineer's first response to that problem was above and beyond what our mitigation plan was. He decided that it needed I can't remember, it was 12 by 6 or something like that, box culvert
yeah.
at a sharper angle with a substantial precast concrete wing wall to divert it into the culvert. But it changed it from this angle to this angle with a big head wall.
Right, right. That, now, Mac, does that always flow?
No,
That's a seasonal stream, basically?
it flows most of the time,
Yep,
but not all the time.
not all the time, so yeah, that was, and that's the hard part, is trying to figure out, you know, water volumes for
Right.
3 months out of the year.
He's already done all the hydraulic.
All the hydraulic
And
studies.
that's what they asked for, and then after he gave them all that numbers, they told him, go ahead and get a bid price, you know,
Okay.
an engineer price, and when he did that, that's when it came back, and he said, well, because it wasn't, like the Jordan Road was
Well,
damaged.
Yep,
and they're saying water bill was, so if we can get those two, I guess, that's,
yep.
Mac, if we did get that FEMA, would a squash pipe work better than a round 4-foot?
over here,
Wouldn't it?
possible.
If we change the angle, it would help a lot.
It would.
A squash would help too, though. I mean,
So,
Yeah.
how much, if you change the angle on that, how much is another section of 4 foot?
I have to,
You have to
Was
look.
that steel or plastic?
that's steel.
That's
That's
steel.
steel, okay.
I know plastic was like $40 a foot or some stupid
Yeah.
thing.
So that's probably 80 or 100 bucks a foot then.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, just a question.
Yeah.
Yep. Any other things going on the roads?
No. they're gonna get a little sloppy the next couple days, I'm assuming, but.
We will see some complaints.
I see you winged back, I think it was you on, the one that Houston lived on.
Yeah, well, Mark's been playing with the grader.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, he's done them all twice now.
Yep. No,
Mike was muddy, can you dry it for me?
it seemed to help that road a lot just from this
Yeah.
morning to this afternoon, just winging them back like that, so, yeah, no,
Yeah.
good.
We had the house delivered on the Joyle Road last week.
Yep,
Got a special request to put a little extra sand. We did that on town meeting day, and then 2 days later, they brought a crane up and did the same thing for me.
Yep.
So that's all set and underway, so.
and how is the beeper working?
Hasn't gone off yet.
Hasn't gone off yet, so we need to advertise that number a little stronger here if we can. For the beeper? For the pager, yeah, that's it.
But I've had mine for 5 years, I probably had 6 calls in 5
Yep.
years.
You know, and my thought is, Mac, is if it saves us one time,
All right.
it's worth it, yep.
Oh, especially if, like I said, told Gary before, if it's the fire department, I
Yep.
definitely call my house first, but that's a good way, if I'm down to Sugar House or something, that's a good way to get a hold of them.
Yep.
Absolutely.
So you said truck 1 is Mark,
Yeah.
truck 2
Yeah.
is, and then the truck 3 is the new one?
Yep. So Dan's is actually 15, 2015.
This one, we got 2 payments left on, right?
No, that was paid off. That one was paid off last year. We got
Okay.
2 or 3 on Mark's, and mine we just made it first payment.
Two payments left on
Two on
yours.
Mark's.
Yeah.
What year is Mark?
Mark's is a,
That's 16, 7?
this is a 18 maybe. It wasn't far after
Yeah.
we got in. We had to get rid of that blue thing.
Terry, I know at the last meeting,
3 years. You ever had that old friggin' military?
at the last meeting,
MC pickup?
I don't think you were at the last meeting, were you, Mac? Terry received another
White, 3
concern, we'll call it, about Kings Hill.
Chris Barrett, the Tom Brady.
We've been going up there fairly.
Yeah, but now,
Yes.
okay, just
I
double
was up
check.
there the other day, turned around, and before I got halfway up that hill standing, Josh was behind me with a truck. I went a little long.
Yeah, yeah. Well, the day we were here, well, you were here, the day we were here, and we were talking about turning around up there,
Yeah.
they had one right behind the other
Oh, yeah.
loaded with hardwood pulp, so.
He's trying to get it out right now, and I understand that. That's,
Now, is that hurting the road at all?
Not yet.
Not yet, it's still frozen? Yeah.
Give it till about Thursday.
Yeah. Well,
Somebody was moving a skidder tonight.
There was 2 logging operations going on up there.
Oh.
Yeah. Not Pocket, yeah. Gabe.
Gabe has moved out,
Parent.
but I think the one that was moving today was your father-in-law there.
Oh, Gregory.
I think they're moving out down here.
Oh, they were moving off
I
the
saw
old
him
police
go
farm.
through with a,
Yeah, they got one down here on
That's right.
36 and
Yeah,
then,
there's one on 36.
But it'll,
This is
Who's
when I
on
was
police, yeah.
here tonight's meeting though.
what's that?
This is when I was heading here tonight. I met a truck with a,
was it the yellow one?
Does it say what it looked like?
I
Like a
don't
pickup
know.
or
I can't remember what the truck was.
I saw.
What does the skidder look like?
can't imagine Greg was gonna work too much on that
I
hill.
don't know.
Not too much longer up there.
Oh.
They're driving their tractor trailers right up there at the top.
Oh,
Clear,
yeah,
clear to the top.
they-
Our road's frozen in good shape though.
Yeah.
They
They've
had
been,
chip-
movie by
they had two
Thursday.
chipper
They've been
trucks
winching.
heading up there this
they've
morning.
been
Yeah.
pulling trucks up with, with the skidders.
Yeah.
If
I
they
was
can't
gonna
make
say,
it.
I've seen them grab them with the skidder and bring them in.
Yeah. I got a perfect view from my house. It's right across the
They'll be following the lights on friggin' Thursday.
It's a cool operation to watch.
It is.
Alright, so roads are,
They like shooting deer too.
any,
They're in logging season.
any other questions or comments on roads?
And
It's
corn.
not roads, but it's trails.
Okay.
If you'll allow me, that Kathy Lavoy from the Northwest Regional Planning Commission has a request that we make an appearance at a meeting for the V-Trans Vast Trail, which is the old railroad, which is on the southwest corner of town.
Yep.
It cuts across there. It doesn't really
It's done by Rawson, right? Down by Rawson.
behind Ross's and comes out down to the old creamery in Fairfield.
Yeah, yeah.
Doesn't it come by
But-
Haverhooks?
But it's,
Yeah.
it's just a very short stretch on the north,
Follows the creek.
on the southwest corner of
Back
our
side of town,
town.
old big, long, big meadows.
Anyhow,
Out by Dale Cahill's, right?
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
um,
because I don't think by Havertz that's us, is it?
That's just on the other side of the border.
Is
I
that
think.
Fairfield?
anyhow,
That's us.
the governor and the
That is us?
legislature approved $2.8 million
On the Whitney Road.
of state resources to complete the final stretches of the Lamoille Valley Rail Trail. This is expected to leverage an additional $11.3 million in federal funding, which will complete the last 60 miles of the 93-mile trail, passing through 18 communities from St. Johnsbury to Swanton, your towns, Bakersfield, Highgate, Fletcher, Fairfield, Sheldon, Swanton, and Swanton Village will benefit greatly from the economic boost that other communities like St. Johnsbury have seen and are still envisioning. It is important that we plan together as a region to realize the full potential of this beautiful linear park.
Lance, can you send me that?
Yes, I can.
I wish they
Yep.
spent more money on.
Northwest Regional Planning Commission has reached out to V-Trans and VAST to start the conversation around construction schedules for 2021 and beyond. Bridge repair schedule, trail access and private property owners, maintenance, policing, and more. Both organizations have agreed to meet select boards, planning commissions, administrators, and any other local entity that you feel would have direct interest in the work. This initial meeting is not meant to be a public discussion, that will come, but rather a chance for municipal officers to understand the project status, plan, and impact. Future meetings will be held regarding economic benefits and lessons learned from Missisquoi Valley Rail Trail, as well as Lamoille Valley Rail Trail in other areas where work is complete. Please consider groups from your community that are best to attend. RSVP ASAP. The meeting is March 22nd. March 25th. That is best for most. So, are we interested in sending someone to this meeting? I am not interested in going.
Me neither. I think it's.
I think that yes, the rail trail passes through the town of Bakersfield, and yes, it will be of interest and benefit to the greater community, but not directly to Bakersfield. It goes through our least populated section of town with no access to any businesses in town. That's my opinion. Leave it up to the rest of you.
Yeah, I have no, I just think they spend more money on infrastructure than this rail trail myself, but that's my own opinion.
We didn't, I don't, maybe this happened before, but I wouldn't think so. I don't remember getting, I take that back. Mr. Luna came in
Yes.
and discussed with us what they planned on doing from the Fletcher border to, drawing a blank on that road, Mac. Ross's road.
Lost Nation.
Lost Station, yeah.
What he had planned on doing there, and I don't foresee it being, I kind of
Was
agree.
that for the VAST though, or for
It's the same trail.
same?
Yeah, they're doing the same thing over here in this corner that they did in Enosburg. They're revamping the trail, they're cutting the brush back, they're making sure the bridges are okay and passable for basically the snowcat will be the heaviest thing that goes
About
across
15
them.
years ago, we went there, they put money in Willow Piece, and we lowered the,
Yep.
we lowered the rail trail for flood
Yep,
mitigation. So that trail is all tore up for flood mitigation, now they're gonna redo it for trail trail.
well, they did the same thing on 36 in
Spending
front
money
of
to
Tommy
redo it.
Morgan's house.
At best, we could create a parking area, get funding from the state or the government, federal government, to put a parking area access to the road off from Whitney Road.
Well,
There's a spot on Whitney Road that is possible to do that, that could access this rail trail. If it, you know what, if it went through within a few hundred yards of any of the businesses in town, I'd be on this and I'd say, yes, by golly, we need to support this. But it's so far away from the center of town and any of our businesses that I can't see that it's worth our time and effort.
I don't think by not going, we're not showing support. I just don't think we would have a say in what happens, but there again,
Right.
it's an outer boundary project that not gonna impact the actual village.
This is a
It
pet
may
project.
impact the landowners down there, and maybe we should check with them and see if it's something that they're interested in representing the town at.
Well, they don't want the public there yet.
And there again, so.
Question, is that, are we talking just winter traffic?
No, this is.
No.
ATV as well?
Year-round.
There would be bicycles in the summer.
Can't use ATVs
No,
on them,
not
you're not
ATVs.
No
supposed
ATVs.
to.
You're right, it's snowmobiles in the winter and
Snowmobiles
bicycles and hiking
Right,
in the summer.
yeah, you can use
No, I know.
snowmobiles, but no ATVs.
My wife has thought about it because, you know, I can take her down to Fairfield and drop her off and she can run to Jeffersonville and I can pick her up, but
Yep,
as far as going there and having a voice about what they do, anything that they come up with is gonna be better than any idea I've got.
Yeah,
So I don't feel that we need to be represented there as a town. That's my personal opinion. We can put it to a vote.
I agree 100%.
We'll get reports anyway, right?
We should get reports anyway.
yeah, we will continue to get reports through the Northwest Regional Planning Commission, that is correct.
Okay. So is it a unanimous decision that we do not feel as a board we need to be represented at that meeting?
Yes.
Okay. Eric? Thank you, Lance, for that.
Yep.
Sorry, I'm just finishing up the, you didn't sign this one out.
Max,
It's intentional.
do you know John Doyle over on Witch Cat?
John
Sure do.
Doyle.
Okay, Mr. Doyle is interested in knowing what your plans are for ditching along that road.
He called me at the town shed, I called him back and I explained that if you call in the spring, I'd know better what's going on.
Yeah.
And, yeah,
No.
He admitted to me that it was early and it wasn't a big priority right now, but he'd just like to have it brought up.
yeah. Yeah, I told him, he lives in town, I'll bring him home.
I have one more thing. If you
Fire away.
Fire, okay. Kurt Muskin.
Oh, boy.
Was, if you recall, he declined to mow the gravel pit meadows last year.
Yep.
And we had an offer from Neil Dome, and well, there was somebody else as well,
Yeah,
to mow it.
that would have been, Brian Pecor.
Yep. And nobody mowed the damn thing.
Oh, not last year.
No,
Sorry.
not last year.
Pecor's
Where
was
was
this
it
year.
last
Yeah,
year?
well, Mr. Wescombe said that he would put in a bid for $1,000 for the second cut. He would cut it the first time, and obviously the first cut isn't gonna be worth much this year, this coming year. And he said he'd mow it, improve it, and take the second cut for $1,000. That's his bid.
Mr. Pecor has, since he was here, said he would not be interested. It's more work than he wouldn't be able to get enough out of it, he said.
Yeah.
So he did,
Mr. Wescomb's initial bid was $700.
Oh, so Pecor's declined, he no
Yeah.
longer is
he
interested?
knows, yeah, when he went back and he talked to Gary about it, he's the one that was gonna do it with him, and they just decided they didn't think it was worth especially the first year, but,
Yeah.
This year, you're not gonna get much out of it.
right.
You're gonna have to cut it, rake it, burn it,
Kurt's
whatever,
willing to do it.
and then fertilize it,
Right.
to get anything out of the second cut. And if you're lucky, you might get a third cut, but anyhow.
Well, I know,
His offer was $1,000.
if people are not interested, I have gotten so many complaints about the way the town land looks because the crops were not taken off. Everybody understands
Yeah.
why it looks the way it does, but there's been multiple complaints about the way the town land looks. And, people even to the point of just being like, just get the crops taken off it somehow. So, $1,000 for a second cut,
I mean, that's good, it's like, no, we do up to our wells, we give this, the hay away just to keep the thing from growing up.
Oh, I would, Kurt offered $1,000 when I told him Mr. Pecor had offered $1,000 for the second cut. And he said, well, I'll pay $1,000 for it then. At this point, for this year, my opinion is if we can get somebody to do it for free, take it. Because it's not gonna take too many more years of not doing anything to it. Nobody's gonna want it at all.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
I'm brush hogging it.
So he's willing to come in, cut the first cut off it, burn it, whatever, sell it as straw, I don't know what you do with it, cause that's not my thing,
Yeah.
but, and then for $1,000, take the second cut off it, and that, I'd entertain a motion.
The other one was Neil Doan, and Neil Doan said he'd do it last year and didn't. Now, Neil Doan's been a good neighbor, and if I needed something or ran into trouble and said, Neil, I need help, he'd be there in a heartbeat. But
Neil's Neil.
that being said, Neil was Neil.
Plus, I think he's got more hay than he needs anyways.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I'll make a motion then to offer it to Kurt Wescombe for $1,000.
I'll second that.
We have a motion, been made, seconded, any further discussion?
Do we wanna, if he hasn't done it by a certain time,
Well, you know what?
He's back to milking
Are we just
now,
gonna-
so I
He
think
he needs the hay now.
Yeah.
He didn't last year.
he did.
oh,
He
okay.
had tractor trailers up at Arnold's last week, loading all those hay bales up there.
Yeah.
He was getting short on hay or something,
He
he was
was
already selling on
He
the other.
did the same thing on Heights Hill,
Yeah. I think he's-
because he loaded them in mom and dad's driveway. So they were coming down the hill with bales and loading them there, so. Yeah, motion's made, seconded, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
If he doesn't,
We may have to get some brush hogger or something.
there are people, including myself, who own brush hogs and could do it. I am not offering to do it for free, but it wouldn't,
We'll
I
cross
wouldn't
that
charge
bridge
a
when we
lot.
need to.
I would say, if Kurt's willing
It
to do
sounds
it.
like he needs the hay, so.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm done.
Board business, we're all set there.
You're gonna notify Kurt?
Yeah.
Thank you, Lance. Tammy, you have the reports, correct? All signed and,
What's all
Max got them, sorry.
Oh, the warrants,
Yeah, warrants, sorry.
they're coming.
Yep,
I did have one more thing for the board.
okay.
I don't see, oh no, it is on here, never mind. It is on here. I keep getting hit about the outside audit.
And that's the school you wanted to talk about.
Yes.
Did the school budget pass it? They did pass it.
It did not pass here,
No, it passed here.
That doesn't affect anything.
No.
but it doesn't matter. Whether
It-
we
it's
pass it or
district-wide,
don't pass
right?
it, it's district-wide.
I feel like we might have influenced that because we kept referring to the town clerk issue as Article 4, not knowing that the school budget vote was Article 4.
Oh,
So, might have had some people that voted no on that for not being able to separate the school from the local, which is miscommunication. I think it'll be all right. Pass it.
Me too, I think Act
We have
36 is
absolutely,
wonderful.
definitely not gained a thing by that.
I think that's not an option. I mean,
Some towns voted on it, at some meetings.
Some are leaving,
Forest
some are leaving.
Act 46.
And how did it work?
No, I
There's a
just
couple
looked
towns
to
that
see,
left.
there's 2 towns that did
Yeah,
vote it.
and they left their,
away.
they left their, what do you call it, district, whatever it was.
Yeah, I can't remember what the 2 towns were, and then one other town, it didn't pass to leave.
I think it was Hardwick. I mean, Hardwick. Hardwick.
Yeah.
How does Act 46 like an open checkbook mail for all the schools, because they got all these,
Yeah, really, with no say, no
I had one of
representation at all.
Nope.
One of the things, seeing the order for the replacement check for Champlain Door, wrote a check, I don't know how long ago, and she called me last week and said they never got a check. And we checked on it, the check was, you signed off the warrants, the check was written, mailed, and they did not receive it. So I think this is a replacement check. The question is, that I was supposed to ask is, do you want to cancel that, or put a stop on that check, it's $35, I think it is, or just assume it's lost?
Oh, boy. The
I think we
mail
should put
list,
a
I think
stop
we put
payment
stop
on
to it.
Yeah.
Okay, so
How much was it, Mac? I don't recall.
48404. So there's a replacement check, you signed the warrant for it,
Yep,
but I'll have Kathy or
how much is the check?
yes, please.
Audrey, the check
Audrey?
was for 400 and something, right?
48404. I forgot that part.
The problem is, I mean, you wouldn't think anyone else could cash that check
Right.
because it's written to a business, but I tell you, I've had them cash checks of mine that I went and sent to the wrong business, and that business cashed it, so it's like,
It is not cleared yet, but that's not to say it won't come in. In the meantime, when this one's sent, we can get 2 checks. Not that they would do it, but, you know.
right, and they might not, they might do an error, you know?
Right.
Because we had a whole cycle of bills that took 6 weeks to get to our customers
Yeah.
after they'd been mailed, so they got lost somewhere.
So can't they put a stop payment on the first one?
That's what it
That was the question. But that was gonna cost them $35.
Okay, so you're asking them now?
Yes.
Yeah.
The check is getting written tomorrow.
Mac's asking us if we want to do a stop payment on that first check because they have never received it and it has not cleared through the bank. And we're saying, yes, we probably should do the stop payment,
Just in case.
as much as it stinks to pay $35, but.
That's it.
Can we take a vote on that, Josh?
Stop payment. Yeah, we've,
I'll second the motion to carry it.
there we go. All those in favor of approving a stop payment for the check going to, I'm sorry,
Champlain Door.
Champlain Door?
Aye.
In favor? Aye. All those opposed? Congratulations, Mac, you can send a stop payment.
Are you done with me?
I think so. Yeah, I think we've got new mail to go over and appointments, unless there's anything you want to run for, or would like to be appointed
Who be
to.
constable?
Okay, here's, I'll make sure I don't.
You gotta vote. Mac, you gotta vote.
He's not leaving, he's afraid of
It was Craig there, the night of the counting, he says, "You gotta vote for constable, Larry Wescomb's gonna be first constable." Yeah, thanks a lot.
And Dave Jacobs, third constable.
I'll sit here for another minute or two.
So, just going over mail real quick. We have from the Department of Health, regards to the town health officer and deputy health officer. They would like these filled out and mailed back to them for our recommendation.
Is Ginger still our health officer? Who's our health officer? Ginger?
Our health officer was Ginger Miles.
Yeah,
She still is?
I'm not sure, she didn't, I don't think she ran, I don't think it was a running position. We could be in contact with her and ask her if she's interested in running again.
For being appointed, right?
What's that?
Being
Appointed, yeah.
Being appointed, yes, sorry.
Appointed position anyway, isn't it?
It is, but you just have to send the information to the town as to who the state gets in touch with. That's what these two letters are. We also don't have a deputy health officer that we appoint, probably because we've only ever been able to just get a health officer, so. They're looking for both of those in that section there.
See, in Enosburg, if you don't get a health officer, usually the chair of the select board is a health officer.
Uh-huh.
I heard that the chair can appoint them.
No.
We have a letter here from Melanie Riddle. Dear Select Board, I'm writing this letter in support of increasing access to Select Board meetings through Northwest Access TV and Zoom meetings. Brenda Churchill has an excellent plan to make this feasible for the Select Board. As a zoning administrator and town resident, this is often challenging to come in person due to COVID-19 and a baby at home. I agree 100% there. I would like to participate in meetings and keep everyone up to date with zoning matters. This option would help me do that. In addition, the Planning Commission would like to utilize Zoom account to continue to offer remote meetings and moving forward. I think we have addressed this letter. It's good that we have support from the town on that. Give me a second here to organize my mess. Another letter from Melanie. Dear Bakersfield Selectboard, I would like to update the fee schedule for zoning. The fees have not been updated since July of 2014. There are also two categories that I would like to add: pools and abutter notification fees. I've compiled the current fees and those of Fairfield, Fletcher, Enosburg for comparison. Let me know if you have any changes that you approve so that I can update the post of the fees.
Did she have any suggestions for?
I think she's saying to bring them close to what our neighboring towns are.
Yeah.
Just looking at them real close, like a single family in Fairfield is $505 plus 15 cents per square foot. Ours is 75 cents, or $75 plus 12 cents per square foot. So, you know, for a single family home.
Uh-huh.
And she wants to raise it to 500?
Well, no, she just gave us, that's Fairfield's.
That's good.
Fletcher's is 200 plus $10 per square foot, or 10 cents per square foot, and Enosburg's is a flat rate of 150. I'm not gonna read all these to you, there's a lot of them here.
What's it cover? What's that cost cover?
The zoning fees and
Permits.
permits and admin fees.
You guys want copies of that? This is for like her?
Yes, that would be great, actually.
The town.
No, I know it's for the town, but what does the town have to pay with that?
That's what it's for her work and for doing all the administrative stuff.
So it's part of her pay.
Yeah, we're underneath, if you look at all the towns, we're underneath most of the towns that
Right.
surround us by quite a bit.
Okay.
That's why
I
we
just
have so many
wondered what the
residents.
money goes towards.
It's cheaper to move to Bakersfield.
We have another letter here from Green Mountain Power.
Green, no.
Terry may actually be able to give us a better. Fifth and last step in rate integration for our commercial industrial customers. Bill impact reduces the number of rate classes, and bill impact does not raise the Green Mountain Power revenue.
What's that?
A letter from Green Mountain Power, I can give it to you. And if anybody wants to read it,
Send that to her, didn't I?
that one's there, that one's good in red. The census. I feel like somebody's been sitting on a stack of mail for a while and just waiting.
Yeah.
No, that's all fresh. We
It's
did
all
that last time.
Full disclosure, I'm going back to work for the
We
census
still
today.
can find out.
Are ya?
We could ask
Really
Tammy
pushing
what she did
back.
about that. Did you find that one? No, I didn't, you never gave it back to me. I
So
think anytime you
they
see
want
it,
us to
who's got it?
log on.
What letter?
Well, how is that? Oh my gosh, can you believe that?
I believe
She
it.
thinks you have it.
Everybody can hear it.
For what?
The letter that Ron Yancey sent.
For,
Condition of my
I don't know, we never saw it.
for the zoning, that was a,
Did you open it, Lance?
He did, 'cause I read it.
yeah,
You read it.
I do not have it.
I don't have it. I would have taken it out of the envelope, read it, and filed it.
We took it out of the,
I don't even know
I
where
believe
it's
we're
at.
not coming at the next meeting.
Okay, so if I have,
oh, Josh had it, he read it.
I read it, I don't have it.
Which one was that for, Ronnie? Which one was it for? The truck or?
Yeah, it was for the same issue that Mac brought up, the truck. and-
Going around looking at the roads of the truck.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah.
I remember you reading that.
As I
Yes,
say, we read it, I just don't,
What was it about? For the issue of what?
He didn't feel that we.
he
should
will
use
be at the next meeting.
that's
Yes.
correct.
Yep. Does that make sense? So this is the health officer one. If anybody's interested in reading it, it's basically just who is. This is the one from Green Mountain Power, and this is the census.
The census, is that, what's that asking for?
It's asking for you to fill out the register and add your authentication code, report by clicking report now.
It's actually a requirement of it's like a government census.
Right?
I feel like we just did this. though.
I feel like I mailed something.
It's possible
in.
that you did. If you log on, you should get
Let me
information
look.
that tells you if
You
you
want
did.
me to?
Yeah.
Green Mountain Power, what were they doing?
That's that one right there. We're gonna keep this.
I already took care of my part of the one, that was, the census for, the boundary survey. That's also from the census department.
Right,
I'm pretty
this one
sure
is-
I mailed that in. Give me
Yep.
that and I'll check, because
Yep,
I think
no,
that's just a
you-
repeat.
Now, this is one you can do online.
I think I mailed it.
No, that was the boundary one that you mailed.
I mailed the boundary one.
Yes,
Oh, and this is different.
that's different.
Got it.
Yeah. There were no changes to the boundary this year.
No.
The boundary map was fine.
Okay,
Yeah,
that,
that mailed.
that was the one that we just saw. This
Yeah.
That
one
was,
is-
yeah,
This is different.
this is
Okay.
a different one.
I wasn't sure if it was a repeat. What was the Green Mountain Power here?
Looks like they're just doing a rate change.
So,
Need a motion to bring fees into alignment with other towns, or is that something that you want to take more study on?
well,
Warrants, we're supposed to meet with her first.
Which other town?
I think we should be at least at $200 plus 10 cents a square foot, would be kind of in the middle.
So like Fletcher's?
Yeah.
yeah, it all depends on what you're
Yeah,
adding.
one before the
Cause I mean,
public
like,
safety.
a garage or carport, we're actually higher than Fletcher.
Right.
Want to do them one by one?
Did she wanna be here for input on
I
these?
think,
Or,
I think we should have her input, even if it's on Zoom, we have some input. If she's the zoning administrator, she should have, you know,
I'd like time to look it over anyway.
I kind of agree with that. Can we put her on the agenda for the next
Yeah.
meeting? And
I
hopefully,
agree with Terry.
time to look it over and,
Well, I had to look it over and I'd like to talk to her
yeah,
as well.
yep. Tammy, can we put her on the agenda for the next meeting? And we will do via Zoom,
Okay.
assuming, yes.
Yeah, what to do. We got some.
Yeah. Do you,
Oh,
does Tammy have the authority to get us a Zoom account?
I would
Absolutely.
suggest that you do that. Because I'm not like Google.
Zoom?
I,
Zoom and Google, I think you'd be better off doing that. I don't even have a Google account. Well, I have a Google account, but I don't even have that. So
We can use that and not have to make a
you
decision.
have a Zoom account.
I have a Zoom account. I mean, I think
I'm
technology-wise, Josh, you'd be better off getting that set up.
Planning board, use this account. Go.
And
how
then,
come I don't have your
So,
email address?
we have a sidebar over here. Brenda has her, I'm gonna let you, go ahead.
Yeah, I did open up a Zoom account. I needed one personally for my nonprofit, and it'll be very helpful to be able to learn it really well, because it has a lot of dashboard features. And I did already, or I have spoken with somebody who's gonna talk to Bill Irwin, and they wanna, of course, share it. They had an awful connection last time, and I'd like to make it available so that we don't have to rush to a decision with respect to getting on. This will allow us to record it, save it, and make it available to Tammy for minutes without having to worry about rushing out to get stuff. I will continue to be administrator until it's time when you guys say, let's buy our own. We'll take it over. Right now, I'm more concerned with hardware and equipment to be able to do this accurately and efficiently.
I'm gonna back right the heck out of that, because this is, I'm sorry, it's beyond my comfort zone to deal with.
Out of your realm.
It's out of my realm, and
So-
I'm not afraid to admit that.
We just got
So this
Zoom.
is
I
your
just wanna
Zoom
make sure
account?
I understand. You're saying to use your Zoom account?
Yeah, I just opened this up today. I
Right.
haven't blocked any meetings.
Right.
It's available, and I'd like to let us have a soft launch of this to make sure that it's something that we can do, and I will work and coordinate with Roger on equipment. We may have to have a budget for that, for equipment. And I'll do that with Roger, but how do we have it in place?
That's right.
Roger, any suggestion on how we might have it in place for the next meeting?
Really?
I'll lend you a laptop.
There you go.
It's not hard work, it's supposed to be here.
Okay.
So we will.
Now, will this show up the same way that the schools did? Will it show up as you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll be an administrator, but I can change what it says there.
Okay.
I can say, select board,
Okay.
and then I can also make sure that people are aware that it is running through me, to you guys. Get your hand up?
Just, like I said, we just got Zoom phones at the village unit. They're blowing my mind, they're really complicated.
So,
Those are, I don't disagree.
so that we don't have to run out and do that, I think for the next couple meetings, if she's willing to let us use her account, that works for me. And
It'll let us
Yeah.
also get pricing in for equipment that
Yep.
we are gonna buy. And thank you, Roger, that's a generous offer.
Yeah.
that works. Reports, notice of delinquent taxes. There is a dear taxpayer bill here that says, I have been directed by the town to collect taxes which are due at the town office in October. The taxes on your property have become delinquent, and the amount due now includes an 8% fee authorized by the state of Vermont, interest which is charged 1% per month any part of your month. And the bill presently calculates 2 with the setup. It's the generic letter that she sends out for tax sale.
The cat is like,
Yeah.
Yeah, if we wanna, if everybody wants to look that over and make sure they're okay with it.
oh, okay.
And then this is the minutes, or the warning minutes, so the results basically of town meeting. I don't
Now,
know.
did you want me, I believe on that there was a delinquent tax balance, no?
That's on that, yes.
Do you want that in the minutes? You mentioned
Yes,
The informational meetings, about maybe having those included in the minutes so that people could see who's
yeah,
dropping or not ever.
as I say, I think they also wanted people's payment plans, but we're not gonna do
Yeah,
that.
no.
But the delinquent tax amount, this will be the start, and if she collects and it goes down, well, then everybody will
Right,
see it,
there's evidence.
everybody will be happy. Did you wanna look
Is
over that?
this the gross amount? I mean, this is
Yeah,
what
that's
everybody in
everybody.
the town owns?
Yep.
Okay.
I'll hand that over to these guys over here.
Yep.
Should grab my shoes. And then we have a letter in here. It's Ask the League. I'm assuming it's from, VLCT News. What are the pros and cons of a fiscal versus a calendar year? It's like an interesting little read. I'm not gonna read it to you, but if we wanna make copies, then everybody will have it. Not last. Section B. Appointments of unfulfilled town positions. I'm not sure how many people got to look at it, but the ones that were on the ballots are as follows. First constable, with the most votes of 5, is Larry Westcott.
You want to take it?
Right, and you need 15.
Right, we need 15 for it to be,
Oh, seriously?
Yeah.
we
I
can
think
ask,
Still got it.
we can ask Larry if he's interested in that position.
I can tell you the answer right now.
I think that's gonna be a hard no. I have been approached by, a community member that would like to know what the town would like from that position.
Is he a law enforcement
He is
officer?
an enforcer of the law at this point.
Yes.
Who's that?
If we could come up with kind of like a, lack of a better term, job description for that position.
Same page.
Yeah, I thought it was the same page, but.
If we can come up with a job description or expectations of that position for him, it may be something he's interested in. He wouldn't commit over the phone, but he ran for select board. He obviously wants to be part of our community, and I think we should. Well, see, with him being a officer and having
He's been to
the
Pittsburgh.
training,
Yes.
there's a lot more stuff he can do.
No, I know, but I'm just saying, as a constable though, because he would be, if you read it, for a
Yep.
constable, there is a lot that people overstep that boundary.
Yep,
Is there a job description in the League of Cities and Towns?
there probably
Yes.
is.
Yes.
there is.
Yep.
I believe,
I would suggest we keep for that.
Yep.
yeah.
Second constable, there was, I think Mac knew it. No, I'm just messing with you, Mac. He did get a vote, just like everybody else. Actually, the most votes I see here go to, Terry Gates and
Yay!
Linda McCall and, Larry Westman. So maybe you guys can divide that up. Again, nobody has enough votes for that to be a standing thing, so
What's the pay?
yes. So let's see here. The next one is hospital committee. We did have one person that got enough votes to be on, to actually be elected to that
She's already on
position.
there, right? She's already on there, right?
She's already on there. That's Lisa Maynard. Vera Lawyer had 6 votes, but that's her position that was vacated, so she is not wanting that position. Jan Markoff received 9 votes.
I would make on this one, I feel comfortable. I think Jan Marcotte would take that position. I would like to make a nomination for Jan Marcotte
Yes.
for the hospital committee.
And,
I'll second that.
okay,
I'd like to change the name to Jan Ketchum.
it depends on how it was written in.
It was both ways. I
It
think.
was, okay.
Yeah, I think that's her,
Well,
I'm
what
not
we
sure.
can do,
We're talking about the same person, so.
yeah.
yep,
Jan
what we can do,
Mhm.
Lance, would you be willing to,
Did you
Contact.
second that, Brenda?
she did second that.
Yes.
Would you be willing to contact Jan and ask her if that's a position she is in? And
Yep.
if so, how she would like her name represented,
Yep,
considering it was both ways?
okay.
Thank you. Next one is auditor. At this point, we do not, or we have one auditor at this time that is actually still filling out their term, correct? Which is Courtney Scar.
That's not quite true.
Oh, right,
I'm not
'cause
gonna be doing it next year.
she's,
Bevick is still technically filling her office, however, she's out of state
Okay.
at this time.
So Jason Bapp is the one that was on it.
Yes.
He did receive 6 votes. He is not a Bakersfield community member. However, since we did not fill that position, we can appoint him for this 1-year term. And he has expressed that he would be willing to take that. So if there's a motion,
I make a motion, we accept Jason.
I'll second that.
okay? Motion's been made and seconded to appoint Jason Bapp to a 1-year term as auditor. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay,
That's BAPP.
BAPP, yep. Okay. The other one that was brought to our attention, was the cemetery commission trustee. David Spencer was unaware that he had to fill out his paperwork to run for the position as a re-elect. He has expressed interest and would like that position again. We also have another name that has been brought forward for that same position,
Heather Tanner.
Heather Tanner. So at this point, 2 people wanting one position. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like since this is being appointed, it is not for the 3-year term.
It's a year.
It is for a 1-year term for that position to be voted on again
Actually, it
next
says
year.
on here it was a 5-year term.
Okay,
Yes, but we're appointing.
No, I know, but I'm
So,
saying it wasn't a 3, it was a 5,
okay, yep, I'm sorry, I didn't look at that.
but it'll only be for a 1 year.
It will be for a 1-year term. Being related to one of those people, I am going to step out of this.
Recuse yourself.
I will recuse myself. But is there any, I can
Both
facilitate.
people are qualified and able to do that. It's, is there,
I don't know how this goes at this point. I mean, is it,
it's a
What is his position? I don't even know.
so
cemetery
secretary,
Commission,
Yeah, what do they do?
maintain the cemetery.
maintain and manage the
You
cemetery.
know, cleaning stones, getting contracts for mowing the.
which they've already told us this year that there would be no stone repair.
Right.
That's why they asked for 10 instead of 15,000. And that they were, it was brought forward that the contract for mowing takes up
Pretty much the 10,000.
pretty much all of that $10,000. So there's really no money for them to do anything else other than pay to have the lawn area mowed. Am I wrong?
Yeah. And
That's
we've got-
the way I understood
That's
it.
the way I understand it
and we've
also.
got to hire somebody to take care of the other cemetery over in East Bakersfield, the Cook Cemetery.
At the intersection of East Bakersfield and Joyle.
Yeah.
Yep.
And they're not ahead of that?
No,
They wouldn't be ahead?
no, it's just this
It's
one.
just
Just
the
this
cemetery?
And the Catholic one is another separate entity, but that, we have nothing to do with that.
So, I'm not sure how this works. As I said, I've recused myself
I guess
from
it's
the
been
vote,
nomination, right?
but my suggestion at this time would be to pass both names to the rest of the cemetery commission and put the ball in their court and say, you know, it's a 1-year term, that position will be up again next year. Basically, who would you rather work with at this point?
Pass the buck.
They're the person that has to work with them.
Yes, I agree with you.
I would not want somebody forced on me that I did not
I
want.
agree with you, Josh.
Okay.
Not gonna stop me from giving you a hard time. Get used to it.
Motion to that effect?
I think we do. Yes, please.
Yeah, motion to move that to the cemetery commission for decision on who they want to serve the 1 year.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. Any other conversation? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
That first official motion.
There we go.
Tammy, would
Getting
you,
all emotional in here.
I've got a couple others to call, it's time to pass the buck myself. Would you call the cemetery commission, members of the cemetery commission, Mr. Marcotte probably comes to mind, and inform him of this decision? Thank you.
And if they can just, I mean, it can be as simple as sending any one of us an email as to their decision.
What was our treasurer's name again? I can't think.
Audrey.
Audrey Hazelton.
Hazelton.
Let me see. And everybody saw the results
Who got the
paper.
Lister 3-year term?
Is it in the, did everybody see the, you still have that map?
Sue Sunstein.
Sue?
I think it was Sunstein.
Salsky.
It's also
How do you
available
spell Salsky?
online, I believe.
Yes, it is.
S-K-I.
That was to look over just to make sure there was no corrections, right?
Yes.
Just making sure, don't want to get ahead of myself here.
That'd be awesome.
Sorry.
All right, so I think at this time, there are positions that need to be thought about. I wouldn't necessarily say that we need to make a decision right now. But Brigham Academy Committee was already voted on, that one's good. So zoning board of adjustment, we have 2 people on there, both of their terms expired. Jeremy Wilkins, who no longer lives in not just the town, but I believe the state, as it was mentioned, and Desiree Murphy, who I also believe does not live in the town anymore.
I believe you're correct on that one, Josh.
That's what I thought, yeah. With both of those people not living in town and both of their terms expiring, we do not have a zoning board of adjustment. So if anybody, this is the part we'll want to take notes on. We have 2 seats available for that.
For zoning board of adjustment?
Yep. Second page, about a third of the way down.
Could you explain what that is to me, please?
I would love to. But, no. Zoning board of adjustment, I believe, is if there is a, I can't think of the right word, so I'm gonna say argument with the zoning, dispute with the zoning board, zoning admin, it then kicks to the zoning board of adjustment for review, kind of like we did with, you weren't here, sorry.
Over Dave Carter's.
Yeah, over to David Cars. So I think they would try to handle it before it had to come in front of the select board for the, what's the acronym,
BCA.
BCA,
Okay.
Board of Civil Authority.
Is there a function of the justice of the peace in those proceedings?
Yes, there is. Justice of the Peace are all members of the Board of Civil Authority.
Gotcha.
Yep. And there are select things that select board members cannot be a part of. I'm not sure if that's one of them, but if
I'm
you're.
a JP.
Okay.
Select board members are members of the Board of Civil Authority.
Right, but we're talking zoning board of adjustment.
Yes.
Okay, town.
However, if we don't fill those positions, the select board acts as a zoning board. Okay? So it's in our best interest to find someone to volunteer.
So we also have town agent. I know Dylan Wescombe held that position for
Yes, he did.
many years. I don't know, was it only 2? Or I thought it was 2 terms, okay. A couple of years then. I don't know as if he would be willing to run or take it again.
Is he in town? He's outside of town.
No, he's not, he's in town.
Is
He's
he?
in town,
Okay.
yeah.
Those above me.
I don't think he had it last year, he had won it.
He did,
Yeah, I think he gave it up last
he
year.
gave it up last year, okay.
I
So,
thought so, but I'm not.
in
yeah.
talking with him, I think he said he was only called upon
He's worked
once
Vermont.
in 2 years, and
Yeah.
it wasn't a very complex position. So again, if anybody has anybody in town that would be willing to take that position, bring it to us at the next meeting.
Mark Allen.
Grand juror, we have first constable.
What does the town agent do? What did you say they did again?
He said he served, he said he served a couple of years, and he got called upon once, and he basically was like he just had to be an outside member of something. You know, like there was 2 groups, and he just had to be like an outside member to, I don't even think it was mediate, I think it was more like a swing vote type thing. It was, do you have a better description, Lance? All of
Is
these,
there a VCLT description of that too?
there
Yes,
is.
there is.
Every one of these is in the Vermont League of Cities and Towns. Every single one of
I
them.
would, yes.
In depth. Or Denton's gonna look them up.
I've got the book here, I just haven't bothered looking them up.
So we need first constable, second constable,
Yep.
town agent.
So technically, we don't have a second constable, we have a first constable and an animal control officer.
Oh,
We don't have either
But we
right
don't have either. of
We
those.
don't have either. So, first constable, like I said, if we,
Town, if we don't have those, just kidding.
well, any vacant position is filled by the select board. And I can tell you, it's not always fun.
Dead bodies.
That's, well, you know, we do have a retired person on the board, right?
It's very true.
That's very true.
Talking about you or me?
Oh,
Excellent.
there
We
are
have 2.
There's a first and a second right there.
But there again, the more people you can bring to the next meeting for these positions, the less positions we have to fill on top of our duties here. Civil defense officer. Wow.
That was Todd, wasn't it?
Where do you see that?
We skipped down to appointments. Town clerk / treasurer, we already have. There. Tammy,
Yeah,
would you like to be assistant town clerk and treasurer again?
no, I don't want to be assistant treasurer. And Kathy's informed me that the town clerk appoints her assistant and the treasurer appoints her assistant. And I did get introduced to Audrey, and I did tell her that I did not want to be assistant treasurer.
Excellent.
So, assistant town clerk, I can, a little bit.
So you are willing to maintain that position as of now?
For a while.
Alright. Maybe we could always appoint Abby assistant town treasurer.
I know.
I don't believe
Just while
that,
she's training.
she's interested in that position.
Probably not.
Well, how
Bakersfield,
often would you have to have somebody come in and fill in for the treasurer?
I don't know, but they wanted you on the checkbook. The assistant treasurer. I never actually got put on the checkbook. Like, I never really did anything in the treasurer assisting.
Well,
position.
you need somebody else's name on it. Remember when Vera had that car accident? She was unable to fulfill her
Right.
job. We needed to have somebody else on. It ended up being my name on the books for a while because we didn't have somebody to do that. So it's prudent
Well,
to have someone
it's-
who is able to write checks.
I would think our town clerk.
If the town clerk is interested, yes. If the town clerk is not interested, it isn't gonna help us, but,
can those two coincide?
In other towns.
A
Yes.
lot of towns, the treasurer and the town clerk are the
Yes.
same.
you can.
Most
Has that ever been an issue?
Has it?
I mean,
it's
it
a
makes it
separate-
easy for
It's a separate
Sabrina.
book.
Yeah, I thought it
For
was.
sliperiness, but
For it to be the same person?
I believe Jeffersonville and
Yeah.
Williams, they're both the same
Yeah.
person.
I've got it here.
We're about the only town that's not the same person.
And I think that happened at Linda Hall.
What's that?
No,
Okay.
There it is. Somebody threw that out there.
there are quite a few towns where the positions are separate, and there are a lot of towns where they're the same.
Well, if Kathy is willing to have her name on the checkbook, I think that's an easy,
I think that's the easiest solution, if she's willing.
if
yeah.
she's willing.
Yeah.
I mean,
And
That's-
they would only be, like, if something like that happened.
Yes,
right.
yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't think you, if she was out one day, I wouldn't think you'd want
Sounds
somebody else.
And by the way, my name is not on these accounts anymore, so.
Huh?
I said, by the way, my name is not on these accounts anymore. It was taken off by my request.
Right, right.
So we could ask Kathy at the next meeting if she would be willing to, unless you're gonna see her before then, Lance.
I could ask her.
Yep. Bakersfield Conservation Commission Chair, Mary Lumbrough. I don't know much about the Conservation Committee, Conservation Commission, sorry.
I'm sorry, I was writing, I didn't hear
Is
you.
Mary Lumbrough,
Yeah, Bakersfield Conservation Commission.
Yeah,
does she still want it?
Mary Lumbrough was the chair. Does she still want that position?
Huh?
I don't think so.
No? I don't
Who's
even know
Mary
who she is.
I don't.
Very low, Joe Drew.
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
Brady, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
they take care of the, park in the middle of town, where the old Bachman place was, and the, trail, down around behind the cemetery to the north and, east.
Okay.
They sponsor events that occur on that little park where the Bachman property used to be. They had, 4 or 5 musical events there last summer.
Summer
Maybe
before.
not summer before, you're right.
Not
Not
the
last
ones that
summer.
did the Easter egg hunt and all that other stuff over there too?
Yep,
Yeah.
Okay.
yep.
Okay.
Is Pat Evans part of that?
I think you
I-
go to the concert.
Don't know,
I
honestly.
wonder if he would be interested in that.
Anything is worth a try at this time. Ask anybody. Civil Defense Officer, Sam Cribb. Make a motion that it be Sam Cribb again.
I'll second that.
You can,
That's the one that he was excited about though, right? That's
it
the one-
was.
That's the one where he
Before
works.
Sam, it was Brian Wescombe.
Yep. He's done all the work. He's in with the fire department.
He is very familiar with
He is
what
very
needs to be
familiar.
done.
I will make that motion, and if he has any troubles with his name being put on there, then
He'll tell us.
he will tell us.
I'll second it.
All right.
Well, Terry already seconded it.
So
Oh, sorry.
Who's the new TAC member?
We'll get there.
We're
That's
gonna
you.
vote on it.
'Cause I'm
All
not-
those in favor of Sam Cribb for Civil Defense Officer?
Aye.
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 Any opposed?
Sam has it.
Sam's the man.
We know why now that there was no Zoom meeting tonight.
Yeah. Energy Coordinator, Jerry Brown.
Energy coordinator? What the heck do they do?
From what I've seen, they make sure the telephone poles are not in the right of way. Is that correct? No?
That was his property.
Say, John?
Oh, okay.
That was on his
All
property.
right, I thought that was part of his,
You had to stir it up, didn't you?
I thought that was part of his thing.
Because I, there were car poles up to my house, they were on his property they said they were too far off his right away.
Okay. He doesn't have anything to do with the telephone poles. Okay, my bad. Dan,
What?
you wanna reach out to him and see if he's interested in still
No.
being here?
Jerry doesn't really like me that much.
Okay. Does anybody know if he was interested in that?
Has he been doing it?
I'm not sure exactly what it is.
No, but was he there last year?
He was at town meeting?
No, who held that position last year?
That's the name that's here.
Jerry
Yep,
Brown?
yep.
What was his position again?
Energy coordinator.
Energy coordinator.
If he doesn't step forward as wanting it, then we will need to find somebody else.
Is somebody gonna ask him?
No.
Anybody want to reach out to
I
Mr.
don't
Brown?
know. I'll reach out to him.
You'll reach
Him and I
out.
don't get along very well, that's the only thing.
Fence viewer. Is Mark interested in that position still? By any chance, do you know?
I don't even think he knows he was fence
No.
viewer.
He does, because when I went down there to talk to him, with Terry's concern there, for your neighbor and
Oh,
within
yeah.
the right of way. He told me exactly what the fence viewer's job is, and basically that it's an extremely outdated position, and
Yep.
Historical significance.
it does have historical significance. So I make a motion that Mark
But
Allen.
it's required, it's an office that is required to be filled by
Right.
the state of Vermont.
Mhm.
And right now, it's him and
The select board.
And the select board, yes.
I will second Marky Allen for fence viewer.
I just want it noted, the only reason I'm making the motions is because they're the ones that were on here. I'm just renewing their. All those in favor of Mark Allen for fence viewer?
Aye.
Any opposed? Fire warden, we're all set. Health officer. We have Ginger Miles down. I am willing to reach out to her again to see if would continue in that position. I think she's done a really good job the past couple of years. She's handled multiple
She's still over
calls.
here, right? Still over here?
Yep, she just built out behind.
I
Yeah.
think she's Ginger parent now, isn't
Yes,
she?
I believe she is. Yeah, the name has changed.
She just got married
Yeah.
last year, I think.
Yeah, this summer, her son was in my class there. Yeah, I think she did an excellent job with the issues that came up, so I would be willing to reach out to her again.
I agree.
Northwest Solid Waste Representative?
That's Mark
Isn't that Mark?
Durimus.
Mark, there he is.
He is is he the representative? Okay.
Yeah.
We say, I have Melissa Dine on here, that's
He's
why.
in Melissa's place.
No, yeah.
So are we comfortable in reappointing Mark
Yes.
Yep.
Durimus? I'm not gonna try and spell that.
Who's gonna make the motion?
I make a motion, we accept Mark Remus as Northwest Solid District.
Spelled just like it sounds.
Okay.
Second,
We have a second, we have a motion and a second for Mark Doremus as Northwest Solid Waste Representative. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Next one, RDAG Committee. Says Select Board.
Rural Development and Growth.
Okay, thank you.
So in this, there's the chairman, Larry Krieger. That wasn't one of the ones he was voted for, was it?
We did get something.
He was voted in for something.
Some-
Grand jury.
It
We'll
was
just
grand
be,
juror. Okay.
what was it?
Grand juror,
Grand juror.
which was up higher.
just an aside on this, is that the committee that worked with the fellow who did the Maple syrup?
Yes,
position?
yes.
Okay,
Yep.
just perspective, thanks.
Yep.
Wolf Run was where that money originally came from, if you remember that one.
I do.
Mhm.
That was a federal grant, and They got foreclosed on and our dad lost a significant amount of money to that foreclosure at that time, but there's still a good chunk of money in there.
The only thing I really see is that it still has Abby as the treasurer. Is it safe to assume that Audrey would pick up that spot?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
so,
And I will continue as a tax officer.
there you go. I don't even see that one.
It's not under, but
Transportation Advisory Commission, Gary Denton,
yes.
so voted.
So,
RDAG Committee Chairman, sorry. Do we have to hold a meeting to elect a new chairman? Can we appoint Larry Krieger as chairman of the
Yeah,
RDAG?
that's how it's always been
All right, perfect.
done.
Let's continue to do so.
alright, I'm Larry Krieger for, what'd you say?
Chairman of the RDAG.
Chairman of the
RDAG.
RDAG.
Need a second?
Second.
There we go. It's been moved, motion made, and seconded. All those in
Who
favor?
seconded it? The chorus?
It's a group decision.
Who's on first?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Regional Planning Commission, Bill Irwing and David Pratt. I believe David Pratt has moved out of town.
He's out of town, yeah.
Yeah, he's gone.
Is it safe to say that Bill Irwin would continue in that position?
Yes,
Okay.
I would
And
bet
do
on
we
it.
have any ideas for a second? Or does that one require a second? It looks like they might have just been splitting the duties.
I don't recall that it required two people.
Okay.
Would be commissioner.
Right, so that's the way it's written, is Regional Planning Commissioner.
Okay, cool.
Well, I'll appoint Bill.
What else does he do, Bill Earl?
He represents the town at the NRCP, Northwest Regional Planning Commission meetings.
Yep.
It's usually a monthly meeting.
He's come in a couple times and given us, given us reports on what's going on.
He was very involved in our planning commission guidelines.
Town plan.
Hmm?
The
Town plan, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, so forgive me, my word recall is not what it used to be.
Bill used to work with me at Smucker's Notch, teaching skiing.
Oh, yeah.
So,
So who seconds that?
looking for a second on
Oh,
Bill
second,
Irwin.
I second that.
There we go.
I thought someone already seconded.
Motion for, we have a motion and a second for Bill Irwin as Regional Planning Commissioner. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Excellent. Road Commissioner. Mac Mullet's term is up, or it's a one-year position, right? Appointed 1 year. I have been approached by another individual that was interested in that position. There again, I don't know how it goes when you have two people. Sorry, I'm assuming that you're still interested in that position. Huh?
Whatever.
Well, I'm asking.
Who's the other person?
Hobart Gates,
Hobart?
B-E-R-T. No, A.
H-O-B-E-R-T.
Yeah.
Oh, he's,
Yeah.
what about 58, somewhere around?
He's
61.
He's 3 days younger than I am.
Oh, is he 60?
Yeah.
Yeah,
61.
on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
I'd say he just had a birthday, so.
Same age as we are?
Yeah.
I thought he was younger.
So what's road commissioner do?
Nothing.
Ouch.
Ouch.
I nominate Matt Newitt.
I'll second that.
Motion back into it. And a second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor of Mike Miller for road commissioner, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So passed.
You probably should write that as William.
Yeah, it is William in here.
Oh, okay.
I just felt odd calling you William.
Yeah.
Hey,
If
Billy.
you weren't here, I would have said Will I am.
Got you, Billy?
I don't know who this guy is. Town Service Officer,
What is it?
Dylan Wescombe.
What is it?
Town Service Officer.
What the heck is that?
It's in that book. It's another one of those positions.
I apologize, I meant to bring that book tonight and
Any of these we're unsure of, we can always just refer to the book.
which we don't have with
Does
us.
he want it?
Who's,
Again, that might have been the one he was talking about that he'd never been to, I don't know.
Who is
Dylan
this?
Wescombe.
huh?
Dylan
Okay.
Wescombe.
We don't know what it does.
I mean, if we appoint him and he doesn't do anything, there we go.
I'm gonna appoint Dylan Weston.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed?
I would like to propose, he used to fill town agent, if he's still in town, why don't we put him in for town agent as well? They're both similar offices, I mean,
Yeah, they probably go hand in
town
hand.
service officer is,
I'll make a motion.
town agent represents the town of Bakersfield in disputes that
Did
need
somebody say he
arbitration.
didn't live here?
Hmm?
Does.
He still is.
He still is. He did resign from that office because he had planned on leaving town.
Got it.
But he didn't leave town. He was interested in the office before. Let's see if he's still interested. So I would put him in for town agent as well. Town service officer, I believe, is the one that takes care of, what do you call it, indigent?
Indigenous people?
Indigent. No, not the indigenous people. That's too much of a problem, so.
Spit it out.
My opinion.
Make a motion.
Make a motion that we put Dylan Wescombe in as town service officer and town agent.
I'll second that.
Motion's been made and seconded. Do we have any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Transportation Advisor Commission, Gary Denton.
We already got a victim for that.
I'm doing Enosburg Village too, so,
Okay.
Two birds, one stone.
yeah, pretty much.
Tree Warden, I have Larry Krieger down, but did that pass?
Gary, or do we have to appoint
I
him?
appoint Gary Denton.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Seconded.
And then outvoted 4-1.
Vote,
Tree-
4-0, or does Gary count?
No, it's 5.
It's fine, I just,
He doesn't
He
count.
volunteered for the position, so.
I'm there anyways, I go for Enosburg Village, so I'm gonna go for Bakersfield too.
So, Tree Warden, we have Larry Krieger down, but I feel like Robert Willie has actually
Yes, I
held
think-
that position for
I
the
think
past
so.
year.
No, that's,
Oh, he's fire
that's
warden.
not
fire
tree
warden.
warden, that's
Okay.
fire warden.
Okay. Larry,
So tree warden is Larry.
What's a
Meyer.
tree warden?
Tree warden, he goes out and inspects the trees like in the park
The dad used
and
to-
said, hey, look, this is gonna come down. It's not safe.
Like the one that's hanging over here,
Yep.
hanging over the road.
That one,
you got an issue with it, call Larry Krieger. Need a
Okay.
motion?
Motion to appoint Larry?
make a motion that we fill that position with Larry Krieger.
Do we have a
It's already
second?
done, I did it.
Second. Did you?
And motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any
It wasn't our
opposed?
problem, we took care of it.
You did?
The village did. Light department did it, because V-Trans called up, and they're all, it's on our line, it says, no, it's not, but we'll cut it down anyway.
Zoning board
No, but
administrator,
when it came down, it's gonna take your line down.
Zoning board administrator is
It's not far away from our
an
lines.
appointed position, it's already appointed.
We
right,
looked at it, wasn't take our lines down.
That's Melanie, right?
Melanie
Yeah.
Riddle.
So it's
Well,
been hanging over
maybe this is the
for a
one
year.
Sam liked.
I appreciate you taking it down, I said, somebody's gonna get killed.
Emergency management coordinator, Sam
That's the
Crow.
Sam one.
That's
Yeah,
Sam,
we
yeah.
motion- yeah, we motion for Sam Crow.
We need a second.
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
He's gonna, they're buying him a bottle.
This is where it takes a funny
What's the
turn.
name of it? Emergency?
Management coordinator, EMC for short.
Okay, Sam.
That's what it says here.
Who made the motion?
Me,
And who was second?
What was the other one?
Then,
Gary.
Civil defense officer, yeah, that's the one.
Oh, I anticipate.
That was Todd, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Didn't Todd have that one?
so we also
Yeah,
have the
and Brian
position
did too.
of deputy emergency management coordinator. This was filled by David Houston.
Oh.
I nominated him.
Well,
Who filled his seat?
Now,
Oh,
I switched to the 3-year, Brendan took the 2-year.
yeah. There you
in,
go.
I mean, just seeing who's in charge at the fire station and what the deputy would actually take care of on that, I'd be willing to say Matt Hall would fill that position pretty easily.
He's
That
the
Hall or
Pittsburgh
Todd?
resident.
He's on the Bakersfield Fire Department.
He's cheap.
He's chief, yeah.
He's chief. That's what I'm saying. I mean, as far as
He is.
emergency management coordinator, if he's on there, he'd be in the loop with Sam,
I
those two.
don't think you can appoint him
What
because he
about
doesn't live in
Stanley?
Bakersfield.
What about Paul Stanley? Well, what about, there again, I could easily, I'll
Paul
pull
Stanley's
that
on.
one
How
back.
about Robert Willie? He's,
What
Yeah,
about Todd Cosgrove?
they're all good names, they're all good
Yeah.
suggestions.
Any of those
I-
guys, I would say. Yeah, I don't know what they do, but,
I
Todd
think they just,
retired now, he's not doing
in the
anything.
case of an emergency,
and Todd's retired, he can do it.
well, and this is.
Did he?
this-
yeah.
Oh, yeah. So in the case of an emergency, Terry, like the Halloween storm, it would just be like Sam and whoever else this is would be in charge of making sure the school's open, making sure the generator's running, making sure that there's communications at the fire department. Just making sure that basically there's some place for people from the town to be safe.
Yeah, right.
Um,
Yeah, I'd say any one of those 3.
Yep.
I'm gonna go with Todd,
I'll second that.
Retired.
yeah.
Okay, all right, Lance?
That's what we go with too when my mother needs something. How is retired?
So Lance made the motion, Dad seconded it,
Yeah, vote.
Deputy EMC, Todd Cosgrove, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? There we go. And we will hold off and see if we have any complaints or resignations. I have. Just opening up. Yeah, outside audit is the next thing on the agenda. Who's, I was gonna say, I don't know who brought that up.
Terry did.
I've been getting phone calls left and right about this, that we voted supposedly. I don't, you're probably the oldest one on the board, but
I do not recall any such vote, I don't know when this was, it could be my memory.
supposedly it was, voted after
Linda?
the embezzlement, that we were to have an outside audit done. Kathy thought every 5 years, and we've What'd she say? We've had 2 since she's been here in the 15.
Yeah, that's about right. I've been here 13, and the only thing I'm gonna say is if we're gonna have an outside audit, let's shoot for another year. We just had an internal audit done by people that are qualified, or specifically a person who's qualified. It's very expensive.
I did look into the cost, and actually, of one firm
Uh-huh,
where Jason Bath works.
yeah,
Is it AMP? I think it was.
yeah,
It was like 15,000.
yeah.
We didn't budget for that.
Yeah, we need to, if we, and I'm not saying we don't need to have it done. I agree that periodically, we do need to have an outside audit.
Well,
I just don't think that this year is,
What is our obligation though if it's been voted on? How does that work?
I would like to, Tammy, could you do some research on that subject, please?
What year would that have been?
You mean, you wanna know?
Well, I moved here
you
in
wanna know
87,
how-
and it happened
How
before that.
often that
when
you're
Linda-
supposed to do it?
It
Yes.
was like 86, 85, 86 when that. when Linda
If in
did
fact
all
it
that.
was voted on, and if it was
Somewhere
voted
around
on, what
85,
time
86,
period
I think it
was.
So somewhere
Please.
around 85 or 86 years.
Because I moved here in 87, and it's already left.
Yeah, that was before my time for on the board, and I don't,
Well, I know when I moved here, it happened
I
a year or
was-
two before that.
yep,
I think I was still in high school, I don't know.
I'm sorry, Terry.
I think I was still in high school maybe, I don't remember.
Oh, come on, you're not that young. You ain't that young.
I graduated in 81.
Well, I think it happened after that.
Really?
It would have been
Yeah.
83 or 4, I think.
Yeah,
Was it after?
oh, yeah. I moved here in 87, and it happened 2, 3 years before that.
Yeah. It was in the mid-80s. So, Tammy, you're willing to take that task on?
Sure.
Thank you. Sorry, Josh, I'm stepping on your toes.
No, that was outside,
How old were you in 87?
well, if it happened in 84, it was the year I was born. so.
Well, so do we have to do another audit because we have change in treasures, or will the,
For
we do
January,
have to?
February, just for January, February.
Oh,
Yeah.
Because the audit was
Yes.
done until the end of.
Right,
But that's
what I
an-
was
that's
gonna
an
say,
internal
we
audit.
just had it done.
Yeah, internal, just
So
for
it's
January,
only for
February.
But
January.
that can be done by our
Yeah,
Right.
auditor.
Yes.
Internal audit,
Okay, yeah.
yes. That's Mr. Back.
Yep.
Can I
Present.
just clarify,
Hmm?
can I just clarify what we were asking? 'Cause if
February.
it's been agreed by the voters that we do it in a 5-year interval, and this is the 5th year,
We need to do it.
we need to do it.
This
Yeah.
is like the
So this is
15th
the, over the
possibly.
5th year.
It's over the 50 year.
Okay.
But
So,
$50,000,
but do we need to
$15,000, we
vote
don't have the,
for a budget for that?
we don't have a budget for that.
We don't have a budget, that's the problem,
Like,
that's
would
the
that have to
issue.
be on the
Yeah.
ballot to vote to
Well,
pass?
Yeah, it should be.
And that would push it back to next year, but if, I don't know. I hear what you're saying, Brenda, if it's been voted on, it needs to happen, but I don't feel we can short the town $15,000 for an audit when we could theoretically wait a year to get the same audit. I don't know if there's any statutes.
I believe it should be on the, agenda
So
for
the
town
year-
meeting
Or
or
warrant, yeah.
Australian ballot.
Yep.
Let's get the definitive answer.
Yeah.
Yes,
and-
that's, Tammy's gonna do the research for us.
So if you do the outside audit, the internal would not get done, or they both get done?
They both get done.
They both
Yeah,
get
it's
done.
two
In
separate.
the village, we have ours done every year by, Cattell, Brin,
Sergeant.
Sergeant?
every year.
Every year.
They do an audit every year.
I'll try to have this by the next meeting, might not have it by the next meeting, just because I've gotta go away for a week. My
Yeah.
daughter's having surgery, so.
Well, we
If not the
appreciate your
next meeting, no
willingness to
Yeah.
research this for us.
Can you do it on vacation?
I'm sure it's gonna be
I'm
all
leaving
head
the
scratching,
state.
so I really agree.
I know, it's like red letter.
Have you been vaccinated?
I have.
So now outside
I
audit
have
will
it down
be
every
looked
time.
into
Good for you.
and carried out. Next on the agenda is Act 46.
Let's get out of
I already said my spiel on that.
it. Yeah,
Okay.
let's get out of it.
So then we would have to, if,
Are you gonna research procedure for
Then
that?
I just want to get out of it.
so if the town, so we would have to put that before the town as an article next year.
Yeah.
Boy, I think that could be
We have to
very.
do some research on
Act
it
46
first.
is the school unification,
Are you gonna research the procedure?
us paying for Berkshire, Sheldon, Montgomery's schools along with ours.
It's a big pot, you all put it in a big pot and
No,
Yes.
$17 million this year.
they added $1 million. $1 million they added up?
Yep, from last year.
Well, we paid for Berkshire's new, gym and
Yep,
school.
pretty much.
The rumor has it, they put that on knowing that this was gonna come along. That's strictly hearsay, but,
I heard the same thing from Sheldon,
yeah.
that they knew they were gonna be forced into it, so they passed the bond vote as quickly as possible. Apparently we
Missed the boat.
We
Missed
missed
the
the boat
boat.
on that one, but, alright. So you've done your spiel on that, set future agenda. We've mentioned a couple things in the.
Melanie,
Yep,
and then next meeting, I
She
believe,
probably wants to
was
be on
the
Zoom,
trigger
doesn't she?
to invite the VAX people here. You guys wanted to talk
Yeah.
to them?
Yes,
Will that be on Zoom for Matt Melanie?
yes.
please inform, Mr. Allen,
Mr.
And-
Allen, which one?
Rodney,
Rodney, and,
Melanie?
no, I know who you're thinking of. Lives on the corner, past Rodney's, go over the tracks, right there in the
Dale.
corner.
Dale?
No, further down.
Tyrone Shaw.
I don't know.
Please inform them that they are on the agenda, because I promised that they would. I can
Well, they're,
try and give them a buzz too, but,
what's
Now,
the-
how's
they,
that
they,
gonna-
they
how's
both,
this gonna work?
they both, look at the minutes of the meeting, so if you put it
This
on.
is gonna be a Zoom meeting.
Okay.
So are they gonna be on Zoom? They
My
gonna
guess would be they will both show up in person.
Yes.
As Rodney showed up to the last informational
Yes.
meeting,
It
thinking
is
that
their
was,
intent to show up in person.
what's their
the
discussion?
Melanie will probably
road
do
is-
Zoom.
road.
Road crew with
Well-
driving the trucks?
Yes.
Yeah, stuff in the truck.
So Melanie will most likely be on Zoom, you guys? Like, we
Yes.
put that up.
I got an electronic wheelchair that's in the garage, you wanna use that for
She
doing
might.
roads?
So, on that, I guess it's kind of off topic, but, so what do you use, Mac, when you have to, like if you have to go cut a tree?
I prefer my pickup because I just throw the saws in the back and the gas, and I usually take another person,
Okay.
because if you gotta cut a tree, it's just safer with
Okay.
two people.
There are there's no way to carry extra equipment in a town truck.
Unless you put a toolbox somewhere underneath it.
If we had
Yeah.
to. DOT doesn't allow you to carry that kind of stuff in the cab. And if you put it in the box, how the heck do you get into the darn thing? You gotta get a freaking ladder.
No, you can put a box underneath the box.
Well, no, in the
We also used to
dump
have,
box.
pinch systems, which is, you bolt onto the box,
Uh-huh.
and then the saw would just slide down in there
Yeah.
and ride there. That's just for a saw. I mean, that doesn't give you your bar and chain oil or your gas. And
Right,
So it's great if you're gonna go out and cut, one log out of the road, but if you have a serious issue, yeah, obviously you're not gonna be able to carry all that stuff.
just,
But there again, you're also not gonna be hauling, a full load of sand around if you're doing that either, so. I didn't, when I made that motion, I wasn't saying you guys aren't doing it right. I was just saying that the math on it shows that even if your trucks are only getting 5 miles to the gallon, they're getting 2, okay. So at 5 miles to the gallon, it would cost the town 40 cents for you to drive the town truck. Obviously, there is some wear and tear, I understand.
Josh, just something else to consider,
Yeah.
if I may. That 56.6 or 55.6 cents a mile includes maintenance.
That's what I
That 40 cents a mile that you've spoken for the trucks does not include maintenance
That's
or
what I just
wear
said.
and tear.
That's
I
what
just
you
said
just
that.
said.
Okay. I just want to make that absolutely plain,
I get paid 57.5 cents. You gotta be screwed.
because it's
No, I understand
the
that.
wear and tear on a truck that size, and we pay,
But you also have to figure the man time
Yeah.
as well.
there's room for a lot of discussion on this subject. I agree with that, Terry.
I just want
I
you to
still
know,
think we
Mac,
should
I'm
buy a
not,
small truck, but
you know what I mean?
That's
I
not a-
understand.
Not a horrible idea.
We did have some small trucks, we had some like,
once you get this other truck.
it would hold, remember we had a ton truck, we had that
Other-
350.
By then,
that
it'll be
sold off.
time to replace.
But, so here's the
Yeah.
thing. I know you've seen the truck I have at my work.
We got a 550.
Yeah, you can buy a 350 with the municipal discount for one truck payment for what he's got right now, for his big truck.
What's payment?
Like 30, well, maybe it'd be two, but
It's
I
just,
think
it's
our
about
last one,
30,000.
our last one was just shy of 40,000.
But you also gotta pay insurance, registration, fuel.
Right, I understand, but
If you take that into consideration, Josh, just the insurance, you can't pay for mileage. Even if, I mean, I can cut it back. If you wanna cut it back, I'll cut it back, but I'm just saying.
it's not even so much that, Mac, I just,
550
like,
was
It
70.
wasn't so much cutting back as it was being able to, you're already out there, you run
Not
into
all,
a
not
problem.
always,
you
he's
can-
not always out there.
well, and like he showed me here, Terry, it's, there is justification, and I understand that, you know, but like he had to take his personal vehicle down to get Mark when Mark took his truck down.
We didn't talk, we said we weren't looking at changing any of that.
Right, we're just talking round, road checks.
Road checks.
I understand winter time.
Yeah.
Right,
And that's what we've
exactly.
been doing lately, so, but the whole discussion, I think, came of that last mileage thing.
Yeah.
And that was 18 miles of that was checking roads. And the rest of it was all parts runs
Yep.
and picking people up and, yeah,
And I have that here if you wanna see it, Terry.
yeah. And
No, we said that night when we
Yeah.
voted on it, not to, that was just the road check piece, not the, if they were heading to Clark's to grab something or Ace Hardware. Or I mean, obviously you wouldn't want them taking a big truck to either one of those runs.
See, we're different, like, either we have a 3/4 ton pickup and we have a 550.
Right.
We check roads with either one of those.
Right, and like you said, obviously if it's, you're checking roads for ice, it makes sense to have sand on the truck and you take that. If you're checking the roads for that, like the wind we just got the other night, and you're looking for blowdowns, yeah, I can completely understand where it's easier to have a saw and gas and oil in a pickup.
Yeah,
And there again, maybe,
more common
I know we bought that
sense than
3/4 ton
anything.
Chevy with a missile discount, that Chevy 3/4 ton gas, we paid 31,000 for that truck, with a plow frame.
with a plow frame.
Not the plow, just the plow frame.
Yeah.
Where the hell did you get that cheap?
That's, the municipal discounts are ridiculous. I bought a quad cab 350
Yeah.
for about that same money in 2012.
Right, this is
But,
2007.
yeah,
So Buggers charge us $10,000 more.
I think our F-550, all done, all said and done, complete, plow, sander, the whole thing was 80,000. 80 or 82,000.
just, yeah, I just wanted it to be clear that, you know, not out to attack you or anything like that. I'm just trying to figure out the best way for the towns to get, the roads to get assessed, covered, and,
Little Toyota pickup for their
Maintenance.
Right.
Little Toyota,
and we'll, you know, it'll be the
27,000.
same thing I tell Rodney when he comes in on Monday, because I know he was upset about that, and not sure why, but I'm sure he'll speak his piece when he comes in, which is perfectly fine.
Rodney and Tyrone both.
Yep.
Yeah, it was more the winter time than anything.
Yep.
Because it'd make no sense for you to take one of those big trucks and go pick up 2 screws at Ace Hardware, you know?
They deliver.
Ace Hardware does?
Oh, yeah,
She comes around, she comes
Very
around
good,
every
yeah.
week.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Ace, Napa,
Okay.
they all do.
Rose does it, she, what's her name now?
O'Reilly's.
Clark's will deliver, you know, as long as,
If
but
it's something you can take care of here.
blades and stuff, that's kind of out of our, because by the time you pay shipping on a big
It's
truck.
Robert LaRose's sister who delivers that. Skinny.
All right, so,
Robert LaRose's sister.
Oh, Robert.
Christina.
future agenda is semi-set.
Semi. She can be grander, she's gonna be my age or a little bit younger.
For visitors, okay.
That's my daughter.
Did anybody else have Anything?
We need to check, for the agendas, we need to check on the appointments.
Check on appointments, make sure there's no complaints or,
Yep,
okay?
no,
And
no
additions.
threats.
Yep. Anything else? Anything you want to add for roads for next meeting? Not unless something bad happens, right?
Let's see.
Let's see. Yeah, that's bad words around here.
I heard
Yeah.
Where did you say we were paving? Did you,
I don't think he did.
there's not a paving job coming up this year?
Uh-uh.
No?
You put a grant, right? You put a grant out for?
Grant for the far end of the post road, but we weren't on the list for last year, and last year is supposed to be this year now because of COVID.
Because of COVID.
Oh, okay,
So every year you don't get one, you get a little higher on the list.
gotcha.
I know this is
I knew there
there
was
again.
something said about
Did
paving,
you,
but I
have you
can't-
had a time, or do you know what the steps would be for looking into the guardrails for the intersection
Just
there?
have to call Lafayette or
Just
some
call
of the other
Lafayette.
ones.
Okay.
Some of the other ones.
I was gonna say,
There's
'cause
also,
I think that would be,
Vermont
a-
recreational fencing and guardrail.
Yeah.
I feel like that would be a fairly short span
It would.
and fairly inexpensive.
I'll get with Gary in the spring and we'll get a hold of that Vermont, whatever you just said.
Vermont rec.
Because he's
Okay.
probably cheaper, I mean, we probably have to have more than one bidder.
Unless you could buy, or Lafayette buy the used guardrail. That's a lot cheaper. The used guardrail is fine.
Yeah,
It is for there, yeah.
yeah. Okay.
Get a hold of, what's his name there, Ford. Doug Ford, he's still there. I think Doug Ford's still there, or he's still it? I think he sold it, so, whatever. Big now.
Any others?
I can't think of anything, Josh.
Do your thing, John.
What's that?
Said do your thing.
I make a motion, we call this the end of the session.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?